everybody, Elisa here with Pixie and another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Today I'm gonna do the haul that I mentioned briefly at the end of my last video. I tried to make this video yesterday, but the light was not good, and so I'm gonna try to redo it now. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more success. So this was a haul from the factory outlet store. I have it all here in my Foxwood Grand Tote, which I had with me. Here, I just have bring the chair close to me. I had the tote with me in the store. That's why it's all in there, because I used it to pack stuff up after I bought stuff. Oh, excuse me, my pants are falling down. Even while I'm sitting, I feel like they're falling down. I went in there with a lot of returns. So yes, I haven't been to an outlet store in a really long time, and so I get in there and it's kind of like, must buy. But in addition to that, I had a lot of returns, and so I could speak about that actually just real quick, because I know people, I'm hearing a lot of stories recently about people having bad experiences, and people are sharing bad experiences in the Facebook groups that I'm in that they've had when they go to make a return at a store, and then, you know, that sort of generates anxiety for other people. There she goes. I have my, I don't know if I've turned my camera if you'll be able to see it, so I won't bother to try, but I feel like my screen's a little dark. I wonder if I turn a light on, if that'll help. Does that help at all? I'm not sure if that helps at all. Anyway, well, we'll see. Hopefully this won't be another wasted video. I have a couple of throws folded up here, and on the very top is the Bambi Cozy Life throw, and she has like commandeered that throw. I mean, there'll be times now when I want to use it and I can't because she's on it, and I had to actually get out another Cozy Life throw for myself, which is back there, the Peanuts one. Because every time I open up the Bambi throw, she immediately gets up and claims her spot on it. It's funny how she really has sort of taken over that throw. Anyway. So I can't get to factory outlet stores or any retails, you know, even the regular stores, easily where I am now, and because they're closing retail, a lot of signature stores, it's getting harder and harder, and so I have a lot of returns sort of ganged up. So I always go in with a big bag of stuff, and I have to say I have never had a problem, and I usually make my returns at the Pottstown, PA factory outlet store, and that's where I went, and I have done some returns in some signature stores in Pennsylvania, and I also have never gotten any attitude or anything from sales associates, but I do feel like the girls in the, so don't get offended, I use the word girls, I'm a girl. I use that term kind of loosely, like guys. I know we're all women. The girls there in the signature stores sometimes don't seem as fluent in the process, in the return process, and so sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but which, you know, I'm okay with. I mean, it doesn't bother me as long as they're taking my return. I'm happy. But the girls at the PA, I have never had a problem at the Pottstown, PA outlet as far as their attitude or their ability to handle the returns. Always gone really well for me, and I usually go in with a number at one time, and I always sort of say up front, you know, I'm sorry I'm doing so many returns all at once, but I don't live nearby and I don't get a chance to come in that often, so they kind of pile up, and they always 100% of the time they have said, don't worry about it, it's not a problem. And then I'm always kind of standing there joking around with them saying, I'm going to be back up here at the counter in 10 minutes spending all of my return money. So it's not like they're losing money on me. I had a gift card because of some returns, and I had so many returns that I bought all of this stuff just on return money, and I still had return money that I hadn't used up. So it's almost like this isn't even out of pocket, really. It was already money that was spent. So feels a little less traumatic that way. But I have heard stories of people going into signature stores, especially, I think, and the sales associates, giving them attitude at the register and saying, even going so far as to say that it hurts their sales, and then that hurts them with corporate, and that is just highly inappropriate. And if any sales associate spoke to me like that, gave me any kind of attitude, and certainly started to speak about how it affects their sales, I would be on the phone with customer service, I've said this before, from the store when it was happening, because that is so inappropriate. And I think corporate would be interested to know that their sales associates are actually discussing sales, not that they are breaking down actual sales figures, but they're even using that language with their customers about how you're hurting our sales figures or whatever. That is absolutely unacceptable. That is, I'm sure corporate doesn't want their sales associates doing that. So they need to retrain some of these ladies. You're as a customer, you go in. It is company policy that you can go in no matter whether you bought something online, in the online outlet sale, off the regular website, from the factory outlet store. Maybe you walked into the factory outlet store, but you want to return that stuff at a signature store. You can. I have done all of that. Any kind of possible way to make a return, I have done it. Signature stuff at the factory store, factory stuff at the signature store, whether I walked in and bought it or whether I bought it online outlet sale, returned at both the signature store and the factory outlet store. So I have done it all, and it's all company policy to allow you to do that. And so there should be no attitude thrown your way because you're not doing anything inappropriate. Now I don't know whether this, what's going on with Vera Bradley and what their policies are, or how they handle the numbers, but people have said that, when you go into a store and you make a return, that return is sort of counted against that particular store's sales figures. And I don't know, how true that is. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm looking at my screen sometimes because it does look a little dark. I have some lights set up, but I feel like maybe they're not close enough to me. Let me see if I don't know if I can get the light a little closer to, if I bring it closer, it's got to be on the floor if I do that. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think that's helping. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to have to do this video yet again. All right, we'll see how it goes. So that's a problem if you're walking into a store, you bought stuff from another venue, and you are walking into the store and you want to return it, and then that store is getting penalized. If that return is getting counted against their sales figures, because that's Vera Bradley corporate policy, that's unfortunate. That's unfair to that store. And because then that store's sales figures may be negatively impacted, and then maybe they're basing closures on that, and then people are losing their jobs. And so I feel like, Vera Bradley has created that situation. Now, I don't know, I was in the store in Pottstown, and she called over, the girl who was helping me called over another sales associate who she was training. And so she was explaining that you had something on the computer screen. There was an option to select a certain thing. She selected something that indicated that the things that I was returning had not been bought at that store. And so I don't know if that's new. I don't know if that's always you know, what they do with the outlets, so the outlets don't worry about returns as much as signature stores. I mean, I don't know what that meant or anything, but it just sounded like there was some way that she was indicating that the stuff that was being returned had not been purchased at the store. I don't know if that helps. But anyway, then that she sort of dismissed the trainee, and she just handled me on her own. So I don't know, and I didn't ask any questions, and she was very lovely, and then she helped me later on, and she was talking to me about Cat's Meow, because everyone's all Twitter, because the Cat's Meow is coming to the outlet store, and I feel like I just want to say, you know, I don't know if Vera Bradley watches me. I always say I'm sure they don't, but something happened recently that made me wonder if they do, because I just recently, I mean, they know about me. I'm sure they know about my videos, and other people who are making videos, because we were in the Insiders focus group that Vera Bradley was running, and we used to sometimes share links to our videos, and they were monitoring that group. And I always felt like they didn't really like me all that much, because if I don't like something, I say it. If I like something, I say it, but I also I'm not kissing up. And I feel like there were other people who were more of that vein of, we're not going to say anything negative about Vera Bradley. You know, I don't have any special attachment to Vera Bradley, you know, behind the scenes or anything. But I recently did that video with the convertible small backpack thing that you can use as a shoulder bag in the new Blooms and Branches navy performance tool pattern. And in that video, I was talking about how they're handling the backpack straps when you don't want to use them, and how they are presenting that item on the website, and that I felt they were being very sneaky, and that they were never, across the board with every pattern on the performance twill, they were not showing the back of that bag ever in any of the photographs. And I went on there, and that was true when I made that video. And then I went on the website a couple of days ago, and I was looking at that same item, and I noticed now they all have shots of the back of the bag. So I just feel like, how can that be? That's quite a coincidence that like a couple days or a week or whatever after I do my video, that happened. Maybe it is just a coincidence, I don't know. However, I do think that's an improvement, but they are still not showing the aspect of the back of the bag that I was saying is important and should be shown, which is, how do the straps look when they are tucked in and you want to use it as a shoulder bag? They're still not showing that. They're showing how the straps look out, and that's something completely different. They know that that is not a good look on the back of that bag. It does not look good when the strap, like I showed in my video, when the straps are tucked in. And interestingly, I was on the Lug website recently, and I said in my last video, I'm not a huge Lug person, although I have ordered a few things just recently, and I will show them eventually. I have a long list of video requests that I'm trying to get to also. I had to write them down so I don't forget, because I'm at that age. You know how it is when you're 32. When you're always 32. Anyway, happened upon a style that Lug has that is very similar, a convertible backpack type of thing, and they have a better solution for how to handle those straps. They didn't do completely what I was saying. What would be my top wish would be that those straps come off completely, and you can leave them at home, or you can throw them inside the bag or whatever. So they would have to detach at the top as well as at the bottom. But Lug has them detachable at the bottom, which is an improvement. And you can then tuck the straps in that back slip pocket that's there, and you don't see them as much because you don't have the straps coming up the back of the bag. If you watch my other video, you'll know what I'm talking about. What they have done is, with that that makes this even better is that then at the bottom, when you've detached the straps at the bottom, you're left with a little bit of hardware, the loops and the little fabric tab that the loop attaches to, and that would be sort of hanging out there and not looking great. And so they have made a slip pocket on each side, small, maybe it's like this high. And you tuck that little fabric tab that the ring, the hardware ring is on, you tuck it in there and it disappears completely. It looks great. So that's what should be happening at the very least on the Vera Bradley equivalent, you know. So I did, like I said, I did notice they now have pictures of the back of the bag, but they're still not showing the configuration that I was saying is important to show. And I think that the reason they're not doing that is because they know it's not an attractive look. And so if you know that about your product, maybe you ought to, you know, go back to the drawing board with it. But anyway. So I do wonder if they are sometimes watching the videos, not just me, but other Vera people, and maybe other brands do that too, to see what their people are saying out there. So I don't know if they'll hear any of the, you know, stuff about the sales associates, but or anything positive that I would say, but I do want to say, I know, you know, now I've said a couple things that, you know, maybe aren't great, but I do want to say, like, good on you, Vera Bradley, for doing the Cat's Meow in the factory outlet store, because, like, people were really, you know, like, brokenhearted that still that they missed out on Cat's Meow, and you know, not everybody can afford to buy a pattern immediately when it drops. I mean, I appreciate that I am in a position where most of the time I can. I mean, I shouldn't be. But most of the time I can. If a limited edition comes out and it's going to sell out, you know, odds are it's going to sell out quickly like that. The Peanuts Halloween, the tote that I showed recently, that small Vera tote with the navy background, it's sold out. It sold out very quickly. And it doesn't seem to be coming back. Like, I don't think they're going to restock it because it's gone. The photo is gone from the website. The item is gone from the website. So, I don't know. It makes me sad that they do that, because some people can't. They're waiting for their next paycheck, or maybe they have to wait a few months because they have to budget. They have other financial priorities, and they can't immediately just run out and spend that money, and then they miss out. When there's a run on something that's, you know, very desirable, then they miss out. And that happened with Cat's Meow. And then related to that, what happens is all these people, some people I think are buying the product to expressly to resell it and jack up the price, but that's what happens on resale sites, right? Everybody knows for Cat's Meow. I mean, I just saw on eBay someone was selling a Cat's Meow throw for, like, you know, over $500, because they know that's what the market will bear. They know that somebody somewhere will pay that. So, you know, by making a limited edition, Vera Bradley contributes to that scenario, to that happening. And that always bugs me, that they're a party to it. They know it's happening. So I'm really pleased that they decided to bring Cat's Meow to the outlet store, and they have not touched the pattern at all. They haven't adjusted it. Like, I don't think they did a good thing with when they did Best in Show, and then they brought the dogs to the factory outlet store. They kind of, what I say is, like, dumbed it down visually. The shading became much less complex. They made it a more simplistic version, and it wasn't as nice. And I returned almost everything that I bought in that, throws, the bags, everything, because I realized I had Best in Show, and Best in Show was better. So for Cat's Meow, they didn't change a thing. I got out some of my signature Cat's Meow stuff that I have and compared it so that I could speak about that when I did the video. So I put that stuff away. I mean, I don't need to hold them side by side. They're exactly the same. So that's great. And I'm really so grateful to Vera for doing this, because I didn't miss out on it as much as some other people. There are some things I didn't get that I kind of am sad I don't have, but I have a lot of stuff in it, and I love it, and So I could have lived without this, although, you know, now I'm going to go crazy and buy this all too to have more of it. Because I'm insane. But I'm pleased that people who missed out are going to be able to have it and enjoy it. And maybe it'll drive down some of the prices on a resale site, so I don't know. So they didn't have everything in the store, and the sales associate, who was very lovely, was saying they got a shipment in the week before I was there, and they were expecting it to be all Cat's Meow, and it ended up being a lot of the holiday stuff, and so it already looks like, you know, Christmas and the holidays have exploded in that store. But she said they're expecting another shipment any moment now, and they expect it to be a lot of Cat's Meow stuff. They're expecting a lot of stuff in. So I did get some stuff, but I'll start with I have a tendency to call it the Christmas pattern, but it's not a Christmas pattern. I shouldn't say that because not everyone celebrates Christmas. It's a holiday pattern, maybe, although maybe this isn't your holiday time of year, but it's a wintry pattern. But it doesn't have like Santa in it. But I always go to Christmas because I celebrate Christmas, so it's all about me. I don't want to talk about you, I want to talk about me. Anyway, this is lovely. So this is called Winter Forest, and I you know, in general, I feel like the patterns, the design people at Vera, the factory outlet design team, definitely has a different directive than the signature store design team. Absolutely, a different design directive. And so a lot of the times the factory outlet store patterns seem a little bit flatter to me. It has to do with the way they're rendering details. There's less of that going on in general in the factory outlet store patterns. A little bit maybe under-designed looking. I don't know if maybe that's to save on costs, maybe it's to really distinguish more from the signature line so that the two of them aren't pulling back and forth. I see I just got a message and it's someone sending it to a wrong person saying, "Hey Paula." Hey Paula, this is Tyga. Tigah, Tyga, from Esporta. Anyway, maybe it's so that, you know, the patterns really do look distinct, so that they're not fighting with each other. They're not pulling sales from each other so directly, maybe. I don't know. And it's not, I'm not saying that, oh, factory bad, signature good. It's just a matter of your personal taste and aesthetic, and I tend to gravitate towards the signature patterns, but I do like some of the factory patterns, and I do feel like this one is particularly good. Still a little flat with the rendering, and when I say flat, I mean like when you see shapes, there's not a lot of complexity in the shading going on to give form and dimension to the shapes, so things look a little flatter. May also have to do with maybe production costs. Maybe if your design is a little bit simpler, it's less expensive to print. You maybe require less ink, you know, less varieties, less complex of a design to reproduce on fabric, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a number of factors. But here, I feel like they've done a nice job, because even though sometimes the rendering is still a little minimalistic, the shading and stuff, the pattern is so chock full that it really looks like you're getting your money's worth, right? And there's very, it's Tyga again. I feel like pattern placement will not be as much of an issue with this pattern, although there are some exceptions to that. I'll mention that, my experience by picking this one out, but but you know, you're less likely to get a chunk of fabric with a big hole in it, you know, a lot of negative space or whatever, because it's uniformly dense, and that's nice. And this has a real vintage vibe, I feel like, sort of the way I felt about Merry Mischief and Merry Mischief Snow Day, the factory outlet version of that. And I'm not the only one who was thinking that, because I don't remember which group it was in, but it may have been Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. I don't know if she watches, but she had the same reaction, and she expressed it very well. She said she was getting a vintage wrapping paper feel from this, and I think that's an excellent way to describe this. It's really nice. It's really nicely done. And I don't have a problem with the rabbits. Someone in one of the groups I'm less familiar with, because I'm like very, I have a lot of like friends from the Vera ladies now from these groups, Vera friends. But woman I wasn't as familiar with, but she was questioning the rabbits. She said she liked it, and she was questioning the rabbits. So I think maybe some people might, I don't know why she was, but I'm guessing it's because she associates rabbits with Easter, maybe in springtime. But I don't have a problem with the rabbits in the winter patterns. I mean, maybe it's from living in the country, where I feel like, you see rabbits sitting in the snow. And I'm also used to like looking at Winter Palace, which is a good Dillard's exclusive, and they recently brought it out in the Miller Tote, not exclusive to Dillard's, and that has a rabbit in it, a white rabbit. And I always, like I said before, I always think of Grace Slick when I say white rabbit. So I'm all, I'm always joking about slap a deer on something and I'll likely buy it, but it's really not limited to deer. I mean, I just see critters and animals, and I just sort of go out of my mind a little bit. And so, I knew I was going to want this particular rabbit on the front pocket. So I walked into the store, and there was one stuffed, with paper on display, and it had a good rabbit there. And I was like, should I just tell them they have to get, another one down to stuff, and I'll just take that one? Because I'll do stuff like that. I have walked into signature stores and made sales associates get stuff out of the displays in the windows for me. I'm that girl. Anyway, so I said, well, let me go to the shelf first and see what's there. And they only had like 4 or 5 on the shelf. They didn't have as many as I thought, but maybe there was stuff in the back that they hadn't put out yet. I don't know. But when I saw this, and I said that was good, and then I flipped it around, and the back pocket, even though there's a decapitation there, it had this one here. And so I felt like this was better actually than the one they had out on display. But interestingly, because I know I was just saying, pattern placement is probably not a huge issue, I did want this rabbit here. And this was the only bag on the shelves, other than the display one, that had this here not cut off. So I guess if you were looking for certain elements, you might have a problem. But in general, I think you're going to, it's got birds, it's you're not going to be disappointed, like if you had to order it or something and you weren't looking at pattern placement. Although people should know that they can make phone orders, and a lot of the times the sales associates will send you pictures. I've made phone orders from the Christiana Mall in Delaware. There's a Vera there, and I've made phone orders there, and they've sent me pictures. Very nice. Pottstown has also sent me, the outlet store, they have sent me pictures. Even when I didn't ask, they volunteered. And sometimes I take them up on it, and other times I say, no, I trust you. Just tell me what the pattern placement is like. But they will help with that. So people shouldn't hesitate to call. And if you call a store and somebody doesn't seem too keen on helping you with pattern placement, I just would, get off the phone with them and call a different location. I've done that. I've had that issue, and I actually complained once to customer service because I got someone on the Disney store. The first time I tried to get help there on the phone ever. It was a bad experience, and I complained about it, and they fixed it for me. Anyway, so I just like this pattern. I like the red and the blue combination with these sort of poinsettia-like flowers. I like that. I've always liked red in combination with a kind of a medium and a light blue like that. And I think with black too. I think that stems from this memory I have, I think it was like decades ago now. Dolce & Gabbana came out with one fashion line, one season when they were doing their fashion line, with a whole like red and blue. There were bustiers and obviously very form-fitting clothing, but red and blue in combination and with black. and I just fell in love with it. I just thought it looked great and very, I don't know, they always have this kind of Southern Italian, Sicilian kind of vibe thing going on with their designs, because one of them, I can't remember whether it's Domenico Dolce or Stefano Gabbana, but one of them was Sicilian. Anyway, I think that's where the lemons came from. They did lemons way back in the day before Vera did lemons. Lemons seem to be having a resurgence, not just with Vera. I've noticed other brands that do print fabric. The lemons have made a resurgence, but years ago, Dolce & Gabbana did lemons, and that's a big Sicilian thing. So I feel like, I really like that combination. So that was gonna pull me in, and it's sort of less Christmassy, right? Because it's not red and green. So I like that. Maybe makes this a little bit more versatile for people who don't associate winter patterns with Christmas necessarily. So, and the pine cones are lovely. And then I started looking at birds, and I love birds too. And so I was looking at this, and initially I thought, oh, it's a quail because it's got that little thing on its head. Quails tend to have that, but quails and partridges are very sort of closely related as far as birds, and they are hard to tell apart sometimes. And there is a crested partridge, but I do feel like that little thing on the forehead there is more quail-like. However, these look like pears to me, and so I immediately went in my mind to partridge in a pear tree. Whether that's really supposed to be a partridge or a quail, I don't know, but in my head I was like, oh, partridge in a pear tree. And so then I started thinking, well, maybe all the elements from 12 Days of Christmas are in here, but they're not. But there are, I think, what I'm interpreting as two turtle doves. So you get, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me two turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. I definitely think those are doves. I think those are turtle doves. And they're cut off here, but I do have them on something else, so in full, so I'll show them again. And it's nice because what's getting cut off here is a little bit of blue on the wing. It's nice. So as you can see, very kind of flat. And even in the bunnies, there's that other bunny, minimal kind of shading. There is shading in there, but minimal. So on the flatter side, but very cute, really very cute. And I love the little pink cheeks. And this is not a bad strap too, with the partridge or quail or whatever it is there. So this is a Vera tote, the regular size, so the bigger one. It's comparable to the Signature store, and I'm sorry, I can see my timestamp or I'm already at like half an hour because I rambled a lot. So this will be a longer video. I'm sorry about that because I got a haul here. Comparable to the Vera tote, solid lining though. Would have been nice if this were red. I feel like they've kind of missed an opportunity here. That really would have been kind of fun, like a little seasonal celebration, a nice little surprise. They're very happy, kind of red lining. It would have been kind of like the equivalent of like those Christian Louboutin shoes with the red soles. It would have been a nice kind of little festive. That's where I'm looking for a little surprise when you open up and the items have red, and then it wouldn't have seemed like a black hole. But there are the 6 slip pockets inside. They do something, and it's a recessed zipper. And it's got piping, which is nice, on the top edge. It helps give the bag some structure. So it's sort of ironic that this factory outlet Vera almost looks better than the Signature line Vera. There's no piping on the edges of the strap, but like there used to be in the Signature Veras. But the way the stitching is done on the straps, it almost looks like there is, but there isn't piping. But these are nice and padded and very nice. They have good hand feel. I like them, comfortable. What I do like about the factory Vera totes versus the Signature is the way they've treated the exterior pockets. One side is technically the front because it's got the label, but one side will have a slip pocket, which also piping. And then so that's a slip pocket, and then on the back is the zipper pocket. And that's nice that they don't gang them up on one side, because this way I feel like it enables the bag to function better. Like there's no front, the front isn't as obvious. And so the bag can function either way, and I like that. I like a bag that doesn't scream so obviously, hey, I'm the front, this is the front side, and this is the back side, the wrong side, you know. That's just me though. So really pleased with this, happy to get that. Excuse me. So I think I'll stick to all of that stuff. Excuse me. So this, I'll stick to one pattern before I get to the cats. So this is I haven't been to the outlet in a while, so I don't know how recently they got some of these styles that are sort of new to me. Like this is the first time I'm seeing them at the outlet store, but I don't know, they could have been there for a while now, because it's been months for me since I've been. So this is the RFID all day simple wristlet. It's comparable in size to the signature wristlet, not the convertible signature wristlet, but just the regular one. The inside's a little different. I think the signature one has more card slots on both sides, and there are more of them. This just has 3, which you can't really see here because of the lining, but I'll show it in another item. On one side it's just 3. But I looked through all of them. They had a bunch of them, and I found this one that I managed to get all 4 of the critter groupings on one piece, and so I was pleased with that. So there you can see the turtle doves, and you can see that blue that I'm talking about. Just really nice wing there on the turtle doves. There's the partridge / quail. There's that little bit of blue banding above the beak where the eyes are, and then the crest and the pears. So you can see there is shading in the poinsettias. I'm not saying that these are completely flat, but you know, it's minimal. The shading is definitely minimal when you compare to how things are done on the signature line. There are the 2 bunnies. So I'm very pleased with this. I will use it. Back has an unfortunate decapitation, but this is my favorite bunny and my favorite of all the animals on this. So I'm pleased with that. Then this is another item that for me is new in the outlet store. I don't know how long it's been there. It's sort of like half of a signature double zip ID, the half with the window, and I'll never put my ID in there. And typically I don't, on something like this, I might not even bother to put a photo. Like typically I would put a photo of Duke. But I probably wouldn't do that so much in an item like this. And so in the signature line, when you can see the lining pattern through this, that's nice for me. Now it's just this big black kind of space, so I don't know, I have to deal with that. But anyway, this is the RFID zip top ID case. Has this, you know, loop on a ring there. I guess you could cut that off if you don't like it. I never cut those off. I don't have a problem with them. It zips around. There's a slip pocket, and there's the fabric behind the window. But then there's another, hard to see, but there's another slip area in there. And the partridge or quail. But in my world, it's a partridge because of the song. The pine cone is nice. And it's a little flat, but these sprigs of foliage, nice, those leaves. And it's a nice sort of sage kind of green color. So that's nice. And a turn lock. They didn't have very many of these. And interestingly, because someone had posted in one of these Vera groups on Facebook, someone had posted a lookbook, which for people who don't know is kind of like a catalog that comes out of what's coming in the factory outlet stores, like the patterns and what items are going to be in what. And under the turn lock section, they didn't show that it was coming in this item, but yet here it is. So I guess I feel like maybe, you know, the lookbook not always completely accurate. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of when they go to press. I mean, this is all online. I don't know if there's a print version of it. And so I don't know, but this does exist. It's not in the lookbook, but it does exist. And I was trying to get, they didn't have great, I was in a rush. I was like running through the store like a crazy person because I didn't have a lot of time. And so I missed stuff. I definitely missed stuff. And I might have, if I had had more time, I might have asked them to go, oh, wow, just lost all my sunlight. Can you see that? The sun went behind a cloud or something. You know, when I started this video, it was blue skies, and now it's all gray. Seriously, all gray. So I'm sorry, I have some lights jerry-rigged up here, and so that's why it kind of looks weird. Colors aren't going to look good either. Hopefully the sun will come back out a little bit. Looks like it's coming back. I can see New Jersey through my bathroom window over there, and it looks a little sunny over there, so maybe it'll travel this way soon. The sun will come back out. I'm sorry about that. Now I look like I've got all this warm light coming on me. I look like I'm at a campfire. We'll see how that comes out when I load this up on YouTube. So I might have, you know, if I'd had more time, I might have asked them to go look in the back if they had any more of these, but because I wanted this rabbit on the front and I couldn't find it, so I settled for this. Which kind of feels a little unbalanced. There's stuff here, but there's not, you know, no animals here, and so it looks kind of weird a little bit, but you know, flap is kind of cute. Because there was another one similar to this, but the flap was different. So on this, on the tab on this, you know, this buckle is very heavy when you compare it to like the signature version. I prefer the signature version. That this is very heavy and kind of squared off. The edges are sharper. I like the signature version a little bit better, but I deal with it for patterns I like. This is a turn lock, just like the signature turn lock. You know, you don't get a pattern here in the signature turn lock, although you do in the back section typically, but you don't here in the factory. It's all solid. Slip, you know, little slips and 2 windows. I like that, so I can do my ID. I pictured Duke. That's typically what I do. And then this back section, more compartments and slots for cards, you know. But in a signature version, this typically is the lining fabric, this section. And there's a zipper pocket. Ooh, sun came back. Wow, what a difference. Yay. Now, just hold there, stay there. Then I have a Kiss coin purse, which I like. Always looking for these, and I wanted a rabbit right side up. You know, the problem with the Kiss coin is that purse is that it's one piece of fabric, you know, from one frame piece to the other, so there's no seam. So the one side's going to be upside down. But I did want this rabbit, so I lucked out. So I was pleased with that. Again, this is the one that, the item that made me, when I opened it, I felt like this should have been red. This lining should have been red. And that's when I started thinking about the tote and other things. Really would have been great. Nice surprise. And they've done patterns where the lining is bright. Like I think Flamingo Fiesta, there goes my light again. Flamingo Fiesta, I think, has a bright, like a hot pink lining. It's great. Now it's a factory outlet pattern. I think I have a couple of, I don't know if I got tape measures in here somewhere. Oh yeah. This is typical me. So I'm at the counter checking out, you know, paying, and they had a little bin up there with the tape measures. And so I was feeling even more time pressure. Like I want to look at the pattern placement, but she's ringing me up, and I don't want to, you know, inconvenience her and hold her up. And so I found this one, and I was like, okay, his ears are cut off, but I love his little chubby body, and so I was going to get this. The back is not so great on the tape measure. And So, but I'm still like rummaging through the bin while I have time, she's checking me out. And I found this one, and I was like, oh my God, well, and the back was cute. And I was thinking, well, what am I going to do? Which am I going to get? And then I was just like, I don't have time to agonize. So they're not expensive. So I just got both of them. And I do use them. I keep them all around. You know, I'm always, I don't know if you can hear Pixie. She's snoring. I don't know if you can hear that. Sometimes she really sounds like a lumberjack. A chainsaw. So I just, you know, I keep one here on my table here for when I'm doing videos. I want to measure something, and I keep them in my knitting stuff. Ooh, the sun came back. So I use them. So how's that? So then also, you know, I had never gotten to an outlet to get anything in the hanging around purple, the sloth, the factory version of the hanging around signature pattern. And this is one like Cat's Meow that it seems like, I mean, I haven't compared them side by side, but it seems like for the most part they have just picked it up from the signature version and just sort of, you know, played with the color palette a little bit, but all the elements are there and all the detail work is still there. So this is kind of unusual. I feel like maybe Merry Mischief, they did a good job picking up from the signature. Like they didn't play with it, muck with it like they did with the dogs. I don't understand what happened there. Maybe they learned their lesson or something, that it didn't look as good. I really don't understand what happened with why they did that with the dog pattern. But anyway, this seems to have been picked up right from the signature with all that wonderful detail. Oh, sorry, now the sun is going to give me problems. In the leaves, all the foliage is really nice. All that little detail work, not just in these bigger leaves, but all these tiny little leaves there, and the butterfly, the flowers. There's more than one butterfly in this pattern. I just love these sloths, and I like the way the branches work nicely as lines to sort of lead your eye through the pattern. I like that. And I'm partial to lavender, so this appealed to me. It didn't come in the Vera tote, unfortunately, so, and I don't really like the large Glenna style, and I don't like the factory Glenna at all. So I don't need it in a bag. I was able to let go of getting it in a bag because I have the signature version. I don't know if I would. I don't think I'll miss this in a bag. But it's nice to have little things. And again, this is that wristlet, that same wristlet style. RFID all day simple wristlet, hanging around purple. And you can maybe see the card slots there a little bit better, but nothing on the other side. So pleased to get that. I'm partial lavender because it's my mom's favorite color. And plus I think it's flattering. I think it flatters any skin color, any skin type. Turn lock. I had a few of these, you know, could pick, had my pick. And it wraps, so upside down on the back, unfortunately. But something interesting is happening with the Rileys, which I will get to, because I did buy something from the sale, like the clearance. There's my light again. But yeah, in Jersey, I can see the blue sky. It's, yeah, more sun hopefully is coming this way. Well, the clouds will pass over. I got this tumbler. I can't remember what this is called. Hold on, I have another one here. Let's see if I can read this. Stainless steel travel mug. I really like these. I have a slew of these around. I keep them around the apartment. I don't just use them when I go out. I use them. I've been using them in the apartment, especially the larger signature ones. I have one that has water in it right now. To help myself get more water in me, because I was finding when I just use a regular glass, it obviously has to be filled up more frequently, and I was not refilling the glass, and so I wasn't getting a lot of water in me every day, and this has really helped me. Water stays cold, does keep things both cold and hot. The covers are relatively secure. I haven't had much leaking. Like I just bought some from some of these from Lily Pulitzer, because I really love those patterns. They just remind me of Key West. But across the board, all the tops on all of those are really leaky. Terrible, just terrible. So I was a little disappointed. These are not bad. Something like this, I mean, I can get a lot of water in me, and then I refill it, and then I'm good for, you know, another huge chunk of time getting water in me. So it's great. I mean, I use them. I don't use glasses anymore. When I sit down at the dinner table with my dad, he has his glass of water and I have this. Anyway, so it's great. So I really like them. So I know I use stuff like this, so it doesn't seem so frivolous. Anyway, how many ounces is this smaller one? Does it say? 20. The smaller one is 20 ounces. Okay, and so then I got, I don't think I have any more sloth stuff. No. So this was in the clearance section. I had always wanted something, a turn lock in this Merry Mischief Snow Day, which, I'm sorry, Mushy, did I just wake you up? I think it looks nice together. As you can see what I'm talking about, that whole vintage, they both have that kind of a vintagey feel to me. This is not a white background, just very, very like pale, icy blue kind of background, and I love this, the big deer with the big rack. And there was one where he was better positioned here, but then I wasn't so crazy about what was going on here. I thought this was cute, but I also wanted something. This was the best I could find. They didn't have very many left, but I love this fawn with the wig out my lighting with the Christmas lights. And so I went for this one. That's why I never chanced at ordering this from an online outlet sale or anything, because I just felt like it was gonna be difficult to get placement that I liked. Oh, and one more sloth thing. A larger notebook, hanging around purple. Again, I haven't unwrapped these. It's funny, I was in the store, and I had amongst all my stuff, I had notebooks, but there was a lot of stuff, and I was building up a pile on the counter, and as she was ringing me up, we were talking about the shopping bag, and I was saying, well, I have my grand, you know, tote, don't bother, give me one of those pink bags, you know, we don't have to waste a bag, and I'll just load it up. So I was loading stuff up, and she's ringing me up, and someone's distracting or whatever, and so my notebooks that I had selected got lost in the fray, and she didn't charge me for them, but she didn't ring them up. I mean, so it's not like I paid for them and then we just didn't pack them up. But I was driving back, and I was driving in a way that wasn't typical for me, so I had my GPS on and everything. I didn't really know exactly where I was, and I was like, I don't remember putting the notebooks in my bag, and I hope she didn't charge me for the notebooks. And so I actually pulled off the road. I mean, not onto the shoulder, but like I took the next exit, and I went into like a Wawa parking lot, and I was looking at my receipt, and she hadn't charged me, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just call. So I did. The next day I called, and I was explaining, I was kind of laughing and saying, you know, we overlooked my notebooks, and so I just wanted to order them. And because I had told her that, she volunteered, she offered, I didn't ask, she offered to waive the shipping fee for me, because I would have paid for them, you know, I would have bought them, you know, the day before in store. So I thought that was nice. So the shipping would have been $10, and so I got these notebooks, you know, I didn't have to pay for shipping for the notebooks, so that was nice of them. So I use their notebooks a lot, and so I'm always keen to get a notebook if I like the pattern. It never seems like a waste. And so then just two more things quick before I move to the cats, and oh my god, it's a long video. So this signature store tends not to have great signature, I mean, this factory outlet store tends to not get good signature stuff all that much, I feel like, in their clearance section. They used to, I feel like, get better stuff, and they do when it's like maybe an end of a season or something, and there's a real like dump of merchandise. But in general, I feel like it's not great for signature stuff. But right now they do have a lot of Harry Potter various Harry Potter patterns, including the first one. They had a handful of the Vera tote, the regular size Vera tote, in that very first Harry Potter pattern, if anyone is interested and missed out on that tote. I did have that tote for a while, but then I sold it or I donated it because I realized I wasn't using it a lot. But I do love Forbidden Forest, and they had a ton of that stuff. And so I'm not, after Forbidden Forest, I wasn't so into the other patterns that were coming out, but I do think this Ditzy is cute. And this was, what's the name of this one? Let's say Friends at Hogwarts Ditzy or something. Yeah, Friends at Hogwarts Ditzy. This is a Riley. I just thought that was neat with the harp there and owl, Hedwig, and it's a black background. I'm always getting into it with people about backgrounds. So I should mention, this is a black background. Absolutely, this is a black background. The pleather here on the label is black. It's black. There's so many patterns where I'm like, people, it's black, and they're insisting it's navy. I'm always saying that about sunflowers, that it's black. I'm always saying that background is black. I was saying that about fruit grove. That background is black. There are all different kinds of blacks, just like there are all different kinds of whites, all different kinds of beige colors. I mean, it's not just the regular colors. I mean, black and white technically aren't even really colors, but there's a range of black tones and hues, and same thing with white. It's not just colors that have a variety. And so there are black versions of black that have a lot of blue in them. They are cool. And then there are versions of black that have a lot of red in them. So they are warmer black. So these backgrounds are black. I mean, when it's navy, you can see it's navy, really see it's navy, even if it's a very deep navy. So this is black background, losing my light again. What I did notice that they seem to be doing now on the Rileys, but only on collaboration Rileys, is they are seaming the fabric here. So this back piece is a separate piece from this, but on regular pattern releases, it's still one piece that wraps. And so it'll be right side up here, it'll be upside down here. But on the collaborations, which tend to have characters a lot of the time, they've been making the effort now, I've noticed, to put this seam here so that stuff here is right side up. So like on the Peanuts Riley, all the stuff on the back was right side up, which is nice. I don't remember what happened with Forbidden Forest, whether they were doing that with Forbidden Forest or earlier collaborations with the Riley, like some of the Disney ones maybe. I don't know. I would have to go back and look. But I've noticed that lately. I mean, it's weird. I don't know why they don't just do that across the board. I mean, sorry for the honking. It's New York. That sounds like it could be a car alarm. Thank God. Nobody wants your stupid car. I mean, I would think that it's an added cost to maybe like you would have to reconfigure your machines in the factory. I mean, I don't know, to do this. So why not just do it across the board? I don't know. Anyway, and then there was this, which is an ultra light fabrication, which is sort of like the featherweight and the signature line, although I do feel like the featherweight just has a slightly softer, like silkier, almost like more delicate feel. This has a little bit of a different hand feel, but very similar. Ultralight RFID petite cell phone crossbody. God, that's a lot of words. Petite exuberant floral sage. They did have this in the style that I've been doing a lot of videos on now because I love it, the ultralight dual strap tote. They did have that in this. And I thought about it for a minute, but I resisted because I was already going kind of crazy, and like I said, I was rushed. But I'm thinking it might be my color palette because I wear a lot of camo, and this kind of would go with that sort of sage, khaki, like olive green, Anyway, I just got this for when I'm walking Pixie with my dad, and I want to hang my phone and poop bags and maybe a little cash and an ID for my neck. I never wear this crossbody, something like this crossbody. I'll just hang around my neck like it's a lanyard. But that's why I bought this. And this front gusseted section is kind of nice. Gives you a little space in there for keys. Like I could put everything in here and go for a walk with my dad and be hands-free and have Pixie. And some card slots in there. And then this other pocket where the cell phone would fit. Like my cell phone, which is an iPhone 11, won't fit in that front one, but it fits there. And then on the back is a window with a slip pocket there. I won't put anything in there, and I do like that flower. So, and this is kind of very smooth, slick, almost like heavy ribbon. You can adjust it, but you can't remove it. So I guess you could cut it off if you just wanted to use this as something in your bag, but I'm not going to do that. And so that was that. And so now I can get to, one more thing from the winter forest. Yeah, they're calling this winter forest too. This is a card case bag charm. Because I was running through the store like a crazy woman so fast, I missed the zip IDs because they had a zip ID like this, sort of microfiber, and it had a bunny embroidered on it, and I would have bought that, but I saw people's pictures of it in one of the groups, maybe the friends group, I don't know, or it could have been the Buzz, and I was bummed I missed that, but I'm going to be going back. I had to bring Pixie back to that area for a day soon, so. But this is, sorry. The sunlight now is making problems for me. That's embroidered. That's fully embroidered. Now they did have some, like what I call novelty items. Like they had a Vera tote, the large one, with the two birds on it like this. Bigger, obviously, it's a Vera tote. And that's a combination. This is purely embroidery, but the larger. When the motif gets larger, then it's a combination of applique and embroidery. And I feel like when I first saw it down on the shelf and I was pulling it out to take pictures, because I had pictures that I was going to share in the group, which I did. I trashed them. I should get them out of my trash and see if I could put them on my Instagram for people. But anyway, initially I thought, oh, birds, I'm going to end up buying that. But when I started to look more closely at it, I felt like it was, again, sort of under-designed when you compare to similar types of items that come out in the signature line. And so not as complex with the embroidery, and so I feel like it didn't hold up as much when it was larger. But it was still very sweet, and I had a backpack with something similar on it, and there was a turn lock with like this of microfiber with I don't know if it was a combo of embroidery and applique of one of the bunnies. So they have a handful of these little items that have some embroidery on them and appliques and stuff for this winter pattern. Okay, and then I got to the cat stuff. So was very happy to see the umbrellas. This is the full size umbrella. Because I missed out. This is one of the things I missed out on in the signature release, and I would look at it every now and then when I would see it pop up on resale sites, but I never get motivated to buy it. Maybe because it was an item I knew I couldn't wash. I feel like when I buy stuff that's been owned by somebody else, even if they've never used it, I just want to wash it. So I was pleased to get this, and so it has the little case and just a regular umbrella. And it was inexpensive. I don't remember how much it was, $15 or something. These prices on the tags are meaningless because they always discount everything. They're jacking the price up on their tags and then giving you the discount. It's all psychology. So you feel like you're really getting a deal, but they're still making money. Another tumbler, stainless steel travel mug. When I saw that, I was like, ooh, gotta get that. God. So that was something that when they did the signature line, and I'll get to this, I should show this other thing because it's sort of related. I felt like, and I had said this, they dropped the ball with their merchandising, I felt like, because there were no mugs, there were no notebooks. I mean, there were none of those tiny, small items, clipboard folios, all those things they could have slapped cats on. I mean, people would go crazy for it, and they didn't. And so now I think they got wise. So they got notebooks now. They got the travel mug. I didn't see ceramic mugs. I don't know if the factory outlet store does ceramic mugs. But that would have been something I think that would have sold very well, is like a mug with cats on it, and the dogs would have sold well too. Anyway, I just don't know what they're thinking sometimes. You know, like I said, I mean, I just have a long list of like Glenna's that should exist that don't. So this is a mini notebook. Yeah, so they call it mini notebook. Very happy to have that, and I bought two because, well, I wasn't going to buy two, but this was part of the phone order with the sloth notebook with it. You know, I had this, and they had a small one with the winter forest pattern, and I had that in my pile, so I had the three of them, one of each. And, you know, we overlooked them in the frenzy of paying and packing up and stuff. So then when I made the phone call, I had already decided, well, I think I can live without the winter forest one, and I'll save a little money. And I'm on the phone with the sales associate, and she's helping me, and she's very nice. And she said, I'll go look for the cat's meow for you, and, you know, because I don't see it right here, maybe I'll go in the back or whatever. And she came back and she's like, I have two. Do you want two? So I was like, yes. What is the correct answer here? Yes. So I didn't save any money, but I have two cats ones now. I do use those, so that's why I thought, well, one's going to run out, and then what am I going to do? I would like to know if people have come up with any use for, because these are perforated, and so, I mean, even if they weren't, you could tear out the little strip that's left of any paper. But if you use all the paper, if you use it up, you're not using it, say, as a journal where you're keeping it. So you're using it and you're taking, you know, and you want to take, is there some use for just the boards if you take out all the paper? Because it's such a shame to lose, you know, the boards. I'm curious if this is printed inside. I bet you it's not, but let's just see. I bet you it's not. No, there's a pocket here. This piece, it has two, because it's of how it's constructed. It's folded, so there are two pockets there, but it's just solid there. Okay, but if anyone has come up with some way to use just the boards and attached to the spiral, I would be interested to know, because I have all of these notebooks, and I'm thinking, well, what a shame to have to throw out these pretty pieces of cardboard. And then they have the travel pill case. Again, I was having a little dilemma, and I was like, I don't want to spend time standing here agonizing. And I do love again, sorry, my lens, my light flare there. I love the kitten in the teacup, and I love the fishbowl cat, so I was going to get this. I love her. Love that little kitten. Or him. Could be him. And then a teacup. I've noticed that as a dog walker and having people ask me about my dogs for years, I've noticed this. People tend, and I do this too, not with dogs. But with cats I do this. People tend to think of all dogs as male, and all cats as female, and those are the pronouns that they use when they don't know. And when they ask you a question about your dog or whatever, your female dog, but they're always using the he. They're always saying he. How old is he or whatever? And I do that with cats. I tend to think of cats as female. I don't know why. It's stupid. So anyway, I do love him, her, them. Don't get me started on them. Just as an editor, I have trouble with that. And then I couldn't resist this because of I love the kitten with I knit, and I love the kitten with the ball of yarn. And the Cat's Meow was so much better. I mean, I love Best in Show. I think Best in Show was great, but I do think of the two patterns, Cat's Meow was the one that was better done. And I do think is one of the best Vera Bradley patterns ever. Really well done. And part of it is the little bits of pink here that provide a nice, they punctuate the pattern nicely. And with Best in Show, what happened is they mucked it up with other things like the chair and the stretching, the yoga mat. There are too many of those other things sort of distracting the eye and cluttering up the pattern. This pattern doesn't have that. This pattern is basically purely just the cats, and it's just really well done, really nicely done. This is an item I had never bought before, and I will probably never buy again. The only reason I'm buying it is because it's Cat's Meow and I wanted the pouches. It is a 4-piece cosmetic organizer, and this plastic thing is one of the 4 pieces. And I don't find these plastic things appealing. It does have piping, but you would absolutely need it on this kind of an item. I don't know, maybe I'll find some way to use this plastic thing, but I'll probably just take the pouches out and use them independent of this. But anyway, it has 2 zippers, this case. This is not a padded, the fabric handles, but they're not padded. So very kind of bare bones feeling, stiff, they're kind of stiff. 2 zippers, and then, you know, it just opens up nice and wide. I mean, you know, flat, nice flat. I don't know. Just I don't find this appealing. It always, this kind of thing always feels kind of cheap to me. Like I don't see myself traveling with stuff in this. I don't know, we'll see. But you get these 3, you know, pouches inside. So these wrap the fabric the way they're constructed, and I'm always frustrated when that happens, but Vera Bradley's not the only brand that does that. I noticed the Sports Act does that with a bunch of their certain cosmetic pouches where there's no seam on the bottom, and it's just one piece of fabric, and it wraps around to the zipper. So one side is going to be right side up, and the other side is going to be upside down. It's a little frustrating, but I deal with it. It's Cat's Meow, so I deal with it. So you get these 2 sort of different sizes, but maybe, you know, a little bit comparable. And they come stuffed with paper to keep them in shape while they're, you know, on sale. No plastic lining. It's just the back of the quilted fabric. And I mean, yeah, it's sort of sad you're missing the lining. People may know that the signature Cat's Meow had that lining with the bird cages, and that was cute. And so this is just solid, but at least it's a nice color. At least it's a color, there goes my light, that's matching the background of the main pattern, because this is a really nice gray. And yes, people, I think this is gray. It's the same. Is it black? Is it navy blue? Is it gray or is it blue? It is a gray that has a lot of blue in it, if you know anything about color mixing. So people maybe tend to think of something like my shirt as more gray, but there's a whole range of grays, and then they're used to seeing things like perennials gray, or the Piccadilly Paisley, the Mickey Mouse pattern that just came out, that gray, or the Mickey Sweet Treats, that gray, all very obvious light gray colors. But this is gray also, and I will go to my deathbed saying this is gray. It is a gray with a lot of blue in it. And it's a beautiful color. It's an unusual gray. And of course the light effect, like with any color, light affects how it looks. So in photographs you see it can look more blue or it can look more gray. But to me it's gray. When you see it in person, it looks gray. It's gray. It's a bluish gray. Not a grayish blue, a bluish gray. And so, you know, I'm in the store with this thing in the plastic, and I'm thinking, how OCD should I be? How compulsive should I be about pattern placement? There were only 2 on the shelf, and should I unzip them and look at the pattern placement? And then I was just like, let go. Just pick one and let go. So that's what I did. I just took the first one that I touched, and it worked out okay, because I got a lot of the, you know, I'm not hugely attached to the like caterwauling tabby in the bag, although it's cute, but I do think it pulls a lot of attention. I do like the bird cage, I do like the yarn, I do like the fishbowl, so I'm okay with that. Again, the yarn. Again, they all have no plastic lining, same kind of lining on all of these. I do want to talk about this a little bit. I used to have, you know, like this is an item, it's nice, it's got trim, right? You need the trim here. If you take the trim off, it doesn't hold its shape. I mean, that's what you're seeing now with the cord organizers, which used to have trim, and then they took the trim off, probably to save money, and they moved to recycled cotton. And the seams on the cord organizers look like shit now. I mean, it doesn't hold the shape. The seams kind of collapse in on each other. It doesn't have a nice crisp look to it anymore. It looks kind of wonky. And so, you know, it's not just the Vera tote that suffers from the lack of trim. And items like this need trim, and that's why they've left it here, I'm sure. But this is stuffed with paper now. And so it looks real good, and you work the zipper works fine. You think, oh great, no problem, right? And I used to have something like this in, I think it was Ellie Go Round, which is a nice, kind of hard to find pattern now on resale sites. I don't know if it was a QVC exclusive at some point, I don't know. Had elephants in it, as kind of mandala pattern, circular pattern, a repetitive pattern. And I gave it away because it was shaped like this, and I got frustrated with this closure, because once you take this nice padding out, you have no resistance anymore to work this zipper. Becomes very hard, and I'm really pulling. It becomes very hard, and there's no grab loop handle anywhere on this to get resistance. You need resistance to work that zipper, and there's nothing in here. It's not as easy to do. So I know that going in, but I bought it anyway because this cat's meow, and I'm thinking, well, I'll just find something. I'll work a little bit harder now to find something to keep in here that enables me, it gives me the resistance I need so that I can work the zipper easier. But that was really bugging me. I don't know whether a top handle or a side handle somewhere would help. I don't know. But that might be something people might, you know, want to know. Maybe they don't care. Anyways, that was that. And then they did have a hipster. They had a little hipster. I don't know officially what the name of it was. I never buy those bags. It's supposed to be coming in a Vera tote according to the lookbook. We'll see. It is supposed to be coming according to the lookbook. It's supposed to be coming in an oversized throw. I can't remember whether it's coming in a regular size throw. God, my light is really weird right now. But I would be all over a throw. I mean, I do have a signature Cat's Meow throw, but I would get the oversized throw for sure, because I have a dog's one that looks a little bit better than their. I haven't opened it up, but it's more recent. It's like I found it recently in the outlet. Didn't come out when they initially brought the dog pattern to the outlet. So I think its detail work is a little bit more like the signature version. I'm not sure, I haven't looked at it too closely. It's just, I threw it in my closet because I have no space. And I don't have a big bed right now. But I would get the cats to sort of have as a companion, absolutely. And even if it's a small or the regular size throw, I would get another one just to have a backup. Because people, I mean, are on the resale sites, like I was saying. I mean, just prices are insane. It's insane. So again, you know, like, good on you, Vera Bradley. I was gonna say Victoria's Secret, for bringing this out. So this was the only bag style that was there right now that I would even remotely use, and I probably won't use it that much, but I just was like, oh, I'm here now, let me get something in it, because who knows what's going to stay in stock even in the outlet stores. And so this is the bucket crossbody, which is comparable to the signature. This is a signature version of this bag. The only difference I could see was that I'm pretty sure on the inside of the signature version, it does have the 2 slip pockets on one side, but on the signature version, I think on the other wall, there's a zipper pocket, and there isn't one here. But there's that, you know, exterior cell phone slip pocket, which I never use because it seems like this bag could fall over and the cell phone could come out easily. I could see maybe dumping my keys in there if I'm wearing the bag or something. I don't know. You can see it in there. I would say there's maybe 1.5 inches from the top of the phone to the top of the pocket. So it does slip down in there a little bit. And so yeah, this was the piece when at first I thought, gee, I wonder if they've changed the pattern because a little bit from the signature version, because I looked at this and I didn't see any of that. It was that cat sort of being some internet thing where there was a cat startled by, I don't know, it was a pickle or a cucumber or something, and that was on here. That's why that was on here. And I was looking at this and I was like, where's the pickle / cucumber or whatever? And so I thought maybe they had changed the pattern, but then I found it. I just happened to get a piece of fabric here that doesn't have it, but it's on my strap. On the strap. It's not a bad strap because it's got the fish bowl, which I love. I don't think there may be something in here between the pieces of fabric, but it's very thin. It's not a real padded feel. It's the same with the signature, is not real padded either. But just great, really great pattern. So I'll use this, but I'm waiting for a tote. The lookbook says it's coming in a tote, a regular size Vera, and I really hope it does, because I will get it. Even though I have the signature, I will get the factory just to have. Pockets would be different. The pocket configuration would be different, and just to have another one for you know, so that stuff wears out. I have so many bags that I'm always rotating, and so I haven't worn anything out yet. So knock wood. I have no wood around me to knock. Knock plastic. Anyway, oh god, an hour and 20 minutes. So I hope people found that fun to just sort of see that rundown. I'm sorry it was a longer video. I know it's a lot to ask for people to sit for that long and give that much of their time. So I appreciate people hanging in there if they did and watching it. And hopefully see you next time with a little bit better, more consistent lighting here on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day.